Ever wonder what a real-world, step-by-step wealth plan actually looks like? I mean, not just some abstract theory, but a practical roadmap somebody can actually follow? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to break down a full 10-year wealth and retirement strategy that was designed for an entrepreneur named Marcus Griffin. This is a case study, and it's fantastic. All right, so let's kick things off and meet our guy, Marcus. He's a super hardworking entrepreneur, runs his own pressure cleaning business, and look, he's doing okay, but he's smart enough to know that just working hard isn't a plan. He needs a real strategy to turn all that effort into lasting wealth. So the big question is, how does he get from where he is today to where he really wants to be in 10 years? So here's the snapshot of his finances right now. He's got a combined income of 100 grand a year. Some of that's a salary, and the other 40,000 is coming from his business. But on the flip side, he's also carrying $10,000 in debt. This is our starting line. This is the before picture that everything else is going to be built on. Okay, so that's where he is. But the most important question in any financial plan is this one. Where does he actually want to be in a decade? And we're not just talking about making more money, right? It's about building a very specific kind of life. It's about defining the destination. And this is the destination. This is the vision. It's broken down into 4 huge objectives. First up, get completely debt-free. You gotta free up that cash flow. Second, turn his business from just being his job into a high-income machine. You know, a real asset. Third, he's gotta shift from being the guy doing all the work to being the business owner. And finally, the big one. Invest that income into safe, fixed assets that crank out predictable, passive income. That's the dream right there. So how in the world does he get there? Well, the strategy is actually refreshingly simple. It all rests on 2 fundamental pillars that have to work together. And it all kicks off with pillar number 1, grow the business. You have to think of this as the engine for the entire plan. Marcus has to scale his company because that's what's going to generate the capital for everything else he wants to do. Now, instead of trying to be everything to everyone, the plan gets laser focused on 3 specific high-margin areas. We're talking specialty jobs like graffiti removal, bigger restoration projects like getting rid of algae, and this one's absolutely critical, recurring maintenance plans for commercial clients. That last one, that's the key to predictable revenue. And to actually land those bigger, better clients, he's got to change how he sells. No more pricing jobs one by one. The plan is to sell packages, offer monthly or quarterly retainers for that steady work, build a killer before and after portfolio that just screams value, and use tech to fire off digital quotes instantly. It's all about looking professional and delivering massive value. The whole philosophy here can be summed up with this motto: grow smart, not hard. What does that mean? It means leveraging part-time help when things get busy, automating all that boring admin work like invoicing, building a really strong online presence to attract high-end leads, and creating a referral system with contractors and HOAs that just keeps feeding him new business. Okay, so the business is growing, it's cranking out cash, awesome. That brings us to the second and just as important pillar, master your money. This is all about taking the profits from that growing business and putting them to work the right way, starting with the biggest obstacle. $10,000. That's the debt just hanging over his head. Before any real wealth can be built, this has to go. Think of it like the first boss you have to beat in a video game. And here's the attack plan. It's aggressive and it's crystal clear. He's going to pay a steady $500 a month, but here's the secret weapon. He's going to dump every single dollar of extra profit from his busy season directly onto the principal. The rule is simple: let the business wipe the slate clean. The goal? Be totally debt-free in just 12 to 18 months. So, once that debt is gone, poof, all of that cash flow is now free. And that, my friends, is when the real fun begins. The focus shifts away from killing debt and moves to systematically building wealth through investing. Now, to invest smartly, the plan uses this simple but really powerful metaphor of 3 buckets. You've got your taxable bucket, where you get taxed now. You've got your tax-deferred bucket, where you get taxed later, like a 401k. And then you have the most powerful one, the tax-free bucket, where you get taxed, well, never. But hold on. Why is that tax-never bucket so important? Why is there so much emphasis on finding a place for your money to grow where the government can't take a chunk of the profits later on? Well, this chart gives us a pretty big clue. See that red dotted line? That's the U.S. national debt, and it's been on a ridiculously steep climb for decades. Now, while tax rates have gone up and down, a pretty common assumption in financial planning is that with all that rising debt, taxes in the future are probably more likely to go up than down. And if that happens, having your money in a tax-free bucket becomes, well, exponentially more valuable. For Marcus's plan, the goal is to fill this tax-free bucket using investment vehicles that are designed for safety. The non-negotiables are these three things: principal protection, meaning his initial investment is safe; predictable growth, with steady, known interest; and no market risk, so he can actually sleep at night without stressing about the stock market crashing. So we've got the two pillars: grow the business and master the money. Now, let's put it all together. Let's zoom out and see how this whole thing unfolds over the next decade with the year-by-year roadmap. Okay, in years 1 and 2, the entire focus is on one thing: killing that debt and building a rock-solid foundation. Then, in years 3 and 4, with all that cash flow freed up, he starts investing with confidence. Years 5 through 7 are all about scaling, fully funding his assets and managing a full team as he steps into that true owner role. And finally, in years 8 to 10, it all comes together. He secures lifetime income, maybe sells the company as a valuable asset, and hits his retirement goals. And this right here, this visual shows the secret sauce behind the investment strategy. By protecting his principal and just letting compound interest do its thing year after year, Marcus is creating this financial safety net that just grows and grows over time. It's a powerful, predictable wealth machine. You know, this quote really sums up the entire philosophy of this plan. It's for people like Marcus who have already put in the blood, sweat, and tears. Now, it's about channeling that incredible effort into building something that's actually going to last. So, what can you and I take away from this? Well, Marcus's whole journey can be broken down into 4 clear, actionable steps for literally anyone. First, you got to review your own numbers. Know exactly where you're starting from. Second, create an aggressive plan to eliminate your debt. Third, pick the right financial products that actually fit you and your goals. And fourth, you got to execute the plan and schedule regular check-ins to make sure you stay on track. So we've just walked through Marcus's detailed 4-step action plan. It's clear, it's strategic, and it's designed to work over 10 years. So the only question left for you is, what will your first step be?